I love that, man. You always seem to be on the ocean. Like, I saw one story there where you kind of did like 300 or 400 miles with some friends, and I think you just camped and explored different parts of the coast up around the New England area. If memory serves, is that right?
Excellent due diligence check, by the way. Yeah, so I have a little 20-foot bay boat, and I call it the Lady. It's Fighting Lady Yellow, so that's why it's called the Lady. But it holds 80 gallons of fuel, which is just an insane amount of fuel for a small boat with a 115 Yamaha on the back, which is a very reliable engine.
Mm.
And yeah, I've been known for just doing big boat sends on a small boat, and I just kind of I don't know, I just like proving that you don't really need a big boat to have big boat experience. And it's a great little dive boat. So yeah, I took that boat actually with my ex-girlfriend Liza around Long Island. We camped on the boat for 2 nights, spent one night in New York City, and then which is basically a big lap around Long Island. And that was a great time. We explored that waterway quite a bit. And then this past summer, my buddy Jojo and I we went up to Nantucket, Chatham, Cuttyhunk. New England is a very special place in terms of like the geography and the structure.
Yeah.
I think the glaciers had a pretty good go at that place 25,000 years ago and just carved it up. So, between these island chains, you get all this great underwater structure and topography. And, it's just unbelievable reefs for fish and stuff. Unfortunately, that Massachusetts, Cape Cod region has become one of the top white shark hotspots.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
it rivals that of South Africa's at this point. So, I try not to do too much diving up there just because, it could be probably pretty dangerous. And the visibility is really low in New England.
Mm.
20, 30-foot viz is a good day. You might have to do that metric conversion, but,
No, no.
50-foot viz, 60-foot viz is like the best you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And I'm talking inshore. So, I would say up to 30 miles from the coast,
Mm.
it stays pretty green.
Yeah. Green, dark water, like, and, less than sort of 10 meters, 30-foot viz is like pretty hectic, especially when you're dealing with a sort of an endemic large population of big sharks that aren't afraid of people. Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to do a lot of spearing there for sure, man.
Yeah, we really don't see a whole lot. Like down here in Florida, there's a serious bull shark problem going on. There seems to be an imbalance. There's too many bull sharks, too many Goliath groupers. Up north, there's been the last season, there was a lot of dusky sharks taking bites out of Spearos kills, which is kind of really unheard of up there. So I don't know what's going on there, but normally you don't really see a whole lot of sharks inshore. I'm sure they're around and they see you. But if you do run into a white shark up there, which it's possible because there's these yellow like receiving beacon buoys out there, and they'll
Mm.
tag the sharks. And when the sharks get in close proximity, the beacon will ping. There's this app on your phone called Sharktivity, so you could actually see the sharks,
Oh,
which
wow.
shark is pinging near the buoys. So you kind of give that a look before you go out. Okay, this buoy was pinged today. Let's not dive this site.
Are they only
Um,
are they only tagged sharks that are pinging, or is it does it do it off biomass?
yeah, I think they have to be tagged to
Ah,
ping, but there's a pretty good tagging program going on. No, of course there could be a shark that hasn't been tagged to be in the area.
yeah.
But it has something to do with the seal population coming back. There's
Yeah,
the seals are now protected, so the seal population has exploded, and white sharks are kind of just finding their food source once again. I think it's a good thing. I think it's kind of cool.
yeah, but scary. You sound like you've
Yeah.
got a real large sort of. You sound like quite cautious with the large body sharks. Have you had a bad experience, or do you know people that have had bad experiences?
I really want to see a white shark in the water. I don't want to have a bad experience with one, but I'd love to see one in the water. My good buddy, my dive buddy, Dinner Six, Dave, he does some diving off the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and he's always wearing a GoPro on his mask, which is a good thing to do. He had a juvenile. When I say juvenile, it must have been 10, 12 feet long, white shark. Kind of just swim along, and as he's ascending in the water column, the shark kind of is facing towards him, doing like this kind of snake movement, coming right at him.
Oh,
And so he ended up kind of pausing in the water column and got this great clip of the shark just coming right in at him and then turning away. And yeah, the video was like sold off to some networks and went viral. It's got like 14 million views. But the juvenile ones are scary because they're transitioning between a
yes.
fish diet to a mammal diet.
Mm.
But we have a lot. We don't get in the water down here in South Florida without seeing sharks. Typically bull sharks. I've never had a bad experience with one. I just don't want to run into one up in the Murk, up in Block Island. It's bound to happen one day.
What do you guys understand about their body language? Because it sounds like to me, like with your mate's situation, that he's that shark's playing some little body language games, which they tend to do with each other. And then as he's sort of resurfacing, that's sent a message to that other great white that he's maybe something to investigate and potentially attack. And when he's paused, he's tried to pose a threat to it again, which is maybe what's made it veer off. That's my little bro science guess at what was going on. Have you guys sort of had postulated about this sort of stuff as well?
We've talked about it a bunch, as you could imagine.
Yeah.
And it was probably just instinctual on his part, because it's not like he had all this time to think about what to do. He probably just was like, I'm swimming up, it's chasing me. I should probably pause here for a moment and face it head on, just to kind of show him who's boss. And the shark was interested, and then it wasn't interested. I'll send you it after, Shrek. It's a pretty cool clip.
I'll link it up in today's show notes. So
it's a great clip. What's funny though is he was diving that same region, I think 2 weeks later, and the viz was not as good. And now he just saw white shark 2 weeks before, and he's like, "Damn, I'm kind of scared." He's looking around. I don't want to see another white shark. And as he's thinking that, he looks behind his shoulder, and there's like a full mature white shark in the murk, just like big body. Like 2 weeks later, it's like,
oh man,
incredible.
that's hectic.
So he's known as the white shark guy.